Hello everyone, this is Ramachandran, math tutor from Online Math for All. In this video, we are going to see some problems on simplifying rational expressions with step-by-step solution for each problem. Okay, let's go to the problems. Here we have 4 problems, and each one we have to simplify the given rational expression. Okay, now let me take the first one, that is x square and negative 1 divided by x square positive x. Whenever I want to simplify a rational expression, I have to factor the expression in numerator and the factor the expression in denominator. Once we get the factor form of both the expressions, we have to cross out the common factors in numerator and denominator. Then we can get the lowest form or the simplest form for the given rational expression. Okay, now for this expression, here we have 1. Whatever exponent we have for 1, it's still equal to 1. Okay, now let me take the exponent 2 for this one. Even when I take exponent 2 for this one, it's still equal to 1. Because I want to get the form a square negative b square over here. Now let me consider the algebraic identity a square negative b square. Actually, it is called the difference of two squares. Whenever we have difference of two squares in this form, it can be written in factored form, that is a positive b times a negative b. Now we can consider the expression we have over here, x square negative 1 square. It is exactly in this form, a square negative b square. At the place of a we have x, at the place of b we have 1. So we can write this one in factor form like a positive b times a negative b. For that we have to write x at the place of a and 1 at the place of b. Then for a negative b we have x negative 1. And now let's consider the expression we have in denominator. What is the greatest common divisor for x square and x? The greatest common divisor for x square and x is just x. So that can be factored out. Let's factor x out. When x is factored out, to get the stuff inside the parenthesis, we have to divide both the terms by the one I factored out. Okay, let me divide the first term x square by the one I factored out, that is x. When I divide x square by x, I'm just getting x. Now let me divide this positive x by the one I factored out, that is x. Positive x divided by x is just positive 1. Let me write over here. Now let's cross out the common factor we find in numerator and denominator, that is x positive 1. Then we get x negative 1 over x. So this is the lowest form of the rational expression we have in part 1. Okay, now let me erase the stuff and do the second problem. That is, let me write the question. The rational expression x square negative 11x positive 18 divided by x square negative 4x positive 4. Okay, now the same thing. To simplify this rational expression, we have to factor the expression in numerator and denominator as well. Okay, in both numerator and denominator, we have a quadratic expression. Okay, now let's factor the quadratic expression in numerator. For that, we have to multiply the constant term positive 18 by the coefficient of x square. In this case, it's 1. When we multiply positive 18 and 1, I am getting positive 18. Now I have to get two factors so that the product of two factors equals to positive 18 and the sum of the two factors equals to the coefficient of x or negative 11. I think negative 9 and negative 2 will work. When we multiply them, that is equal to positive 18. When we add them, that is equal to the coefficient of x and negative 11. Further, we have to divide both the factors by the coefficient of x square, that is 1. Even when I divide negative 9 and negative 2 by 1, still I am getting negative 9 and negative 2. Now we have to take x over here to get the first factor and we have to take x over here to get the second factor. Then the two factors of the quadratic expression in numerator are x negative 9 and x negative 2. Okay, now let's do the same thing for the quadratic expression in denominator. Let's multiply the constant term positive 4 by the coefficient of x square 1. 1 times positive 4 is positive 4. And now let's get two factors for positive 4 so that the product equals to positive 4. And the sum of the two factors equals to the coefficient of x, that is negative 4. I think negative 2 and negative 2 will work. When we multiply them, we get positive 4. When we add them, we get negative 4. That's the coefficient of x. Further, we have to divide both the factors by the coefficient of x square 1. Then we get negative 2, negative 2. Let's take x over here and x over here. Then we get x negative 2 and x negative 2 as factors for the quadratic expression in denominator. Let's cancel out the common factor x negative 2 over here, here. Then we get x negative 9 over x negative 2. This is the lowest term of the, the lowest form of the rational expression we have in part 2. Now let me erase the stuff and do the third one. Okay, here in the third one, we have the expression 9x square positive 81x divided by x to the third power positive 8x square negative 9x. Okay, here we find 9x as the greatest common divisor for the terms in the expression in numerator. So we can factor 9x out. When 9x is a factor out, to get the stuff inside the parenthesis, we have to divide both the terms by the one I factor out, that is 9x. When I divide this 9x square by 9x, I am getting x. And when I divide this positive 81x by 9x, I am getting just positive 9. Okay, here I find x as the greatest common divisor for all the three terms in the expression in denominator. We can factor x out. When x is factored out, to get the stuff inside the parenthesis, divide each term by the one we have factored out, that is x. When I divide this first term x cube by x, I'm getting x square. When I divide this positive 8x square by x, I'm getting positive 8x. When I divide this negative 9x by x, I'm getting negative 9. Okay, here this x and x can be cancelled. Then we get 9 times x positive 9. And here we have a quadratic expression. It can be factored out. So the same thing what we have done in the question number 2. That is, we have to multiply the constant term by the quotient of x square. That is 1. 1 times negative 9 is negative 9. Now we have to get two factors of negative 9 so that the product equals to negative 9 and the sum equals to the quotient of x, that is positive 8. I think positive 9 and negative 1 will work. When we multiply them, I am getting negative 9. When we add them, we get positive 8, that is a quotient of x. Further, we have to divide both the factors by the quotient of x square 1. I am getting a positive 9 and negative 1. Let's take x over here and here. So now the two factors of this quadratic expression are x positive 9 times x negative 1. Now this x positive 9 will cancel out. Then we get 9 over x negative 1. This is the lowest form of the rational expression in part 3. Okay, let me erase this stuff and continue with the rational expression in part 4. Okay, let me write the expression first. That is p square negative 3p negative 40 divided by 2 times p cube negative 24 p square positive 64 p. In numerator, we have a quadratic expression. Let's factor this one. Multiply the constant term negative 40 by the quotient of p square, that is 1. Then I'm getting negative 40. Here I have to get two factors so that the product equals to negative 40 and the sum of the two factors equals to negative 3. Since we have a negative sign over here, we have to get two factors so that the difference of two factors equals to 3. Okay, I think 8 and 5 will work. The difference between 8 and 5 is 3 and also 8 times 5 is 40. But here we have negative 3. So we can take negative sign for the bigger number 8 and positive sign for the smaller number. When I multiply negative 8 and positive 5, I'm getting negative 40. When I combine negative 8 and positive 5, I'm getting negative 3. That's the quotient of p. Further, we have to divide both the factors by the coefficient of p square 1. When I divide them by 1, still I'm getting negative 8 and positive 5. Now I have to take p over here and p over here. I got two factors of this quadratic expression. They are p negative 8 and p positive 5. When I consider the expression in denominator, all the three terms have the greatest common divisor 2p. So we can factor 2p out. Now to get the stuff inside the parenthesis, we have to divide each term in this expression by 2p. Okay, when I divide the first term 2p cubed by 2p, I am getting p square. When I divide this negative 24p square by this 2p, I am getting negative 12p. When I divide this positive 64p by this 2p, I am getting a positive 32. Okay, we can verify the factoring of what we have done is correct or wrong. When I multiply this 2p and p square, I am getting 2p cubed, the first term. 2p times negative 12p is negative 24p square. 2p times positive 32 is positive 64p. Okay, so p negative 8 times p positive 5 divided by 2p. Here we have a quadratic expression. To factor this one, let's multiply the constant term positive 32 by the quotient of p square, that is 1. 1 times positive 32 is the same positive 32. Now we have to get two factors. I think negative 8 and negative 4 will work. When we multiply negative 8 and negative 4, I am getting positive 32. When we add negative 8 and negative 4, we get negative 12. That's the quotient of p. Now we have to divide both the factors by the quotient of p square 1. Still I am getting negative 8 and negative 4. Let's take p over here and p over here. Then the two factors of this quadratic expression are p negative 8 and p negative 4. Okay, here let's cancel out the common factors. Then we get p positive 5 divided by 2p times p negative 4. So this is the lowest form of the rational expression we have in part 4. Hello students, Ramachandran again. Hope you have understood all the 4 problems which have been explained so far on simplifying rational expressions. And to have more videos like this, keep watching our YouTube channel. And also you can visit our website www.onlinemathforall.com for math concepts, examples, worksheets and more. Thank you.